Hello?
Mr. President, it's Churchill. I've heard terrible news on the radio. Is it true?
I'm afraid it is.
Oh, horrible, horrible news. But now us two great nations can fight together in this great war. I must come to America at once. Will you have me?
Of course, Winston. We must plan for victory.
Oh, absolutely. I can't wait to come to America. I've wanted to go there for so long. It's such a beautiful country. I'll be packing my bags at once. Mr. President? Franklin? Oh, bollocks. Road trip!
The Arsenal of Democracy was a slogan coined by U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt in a radio broadcast delivered on December 29, 1940. Roosevelt promised to help the United Kingdom fight Nazi Germany by giving them military supplies while the United States stayed out of the actual fighting. The announcement was made a year before the attack on Pearl Harbor, at a time when Germany had occupied much of Europe and threatened Britain. The massive industrial complexes of America, along with its large population and abundance of natural resources such as coal and iron, made the country a perfect fit to be the armory of the Allies.
But it's 3 days before Christmas. How could you do this to us? To me, your wife!
He's our ally now, Elle. He's just called and I sent a plane to go pick him up. He'll be here any minute now.
How many people is he bringing?
He's had a few.
Franklin, how many? Tell me the truth.
I don't know, like 40?
Are you kidding me? Is he bringing the whole British government?
Well, I think that's the idea. I think he's at the door. Ah, Nesbit. You know, we're gonna have a few extra people staying with us for a couple of days.
Of course, Mr. President. How much food shall I prepare?
Oh, well, I think that we'll be having about 40 extra people staying with us, so it shouldn't be that bad.
Mr. Churchill, so glad you could join us.
Oh, how nice
Oh,
to
come
see
in, come
you.
in. Franklin will be so excited.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
Winston, I'm so happy you made
Franklin,
it. Hope
nice
your
to
trip
see
was
you.
well.
It was long, but it went very well.
I'm so glad you were able to come. Let Nesbit here help you and your dad to up your room.
Oh, I've heard a lot about this, Nesbit.
This way, Mr. Churchill.
Thank you, Nesbit.
On the American home front in 1942, a rationing system was created to guarantee minimum amounts of necessities to everyone, especially poor people, and prevent inflation. By 1943, one required government-issued ration coupons to purchase tires, gasoline, coffee, sugar, clothing, meat, butter, and many other items. In addition to the rationing system put in place, American industry, at the President's request, made the switch from producing cars to tanks, toasters to bullets, knives to bayonets. The change was complete and total. Millions of new workers were inducted into the workforce. As men left to fight, opportunities opened up for women and minorities.
Good morning, Mr. Churchill. I hope you slept well.
Oh, good morning, gentlemen. I slept
morning.
great, like a baby.
Really?
Now, Mr. Churchill, before we begin, I just must insist, would you mind buttoning up a bit?
Oh, sorry.
Me and Mr. Hopkins were talking about our plans for possibly invading the southern Japanese islands in the Pacific.
Oh, well, that's not something that you should consider. I think that we should first turn our attention towards Europe. I suggest that we use some sort of land-based armored vehicle. I'm not entirely sure which one to use or how to use it, but that is simply just a suggestion.
President Roosevelt signed the Selective Training and Service Act in 1940. This began the first and largest peacetime draft in U.S. history. This act drafted thousands and registered many more. After the attack on Pearl Harbor, thousands of men and women volunteered, and hundreds of thousands more men were drafted. The Selective Service Commission, led by Major Lewis Hershey, set its goal to be 200,000 men drafted per month. They used a national lottery system to determine who would get picked first. As the war went on, they lowered the age of conscription from 21 to 18. By 1945, 10 million men had been enlisted.
Christmas, old chap.
And a Merry Christmas to you, good sir.
Thank you.
How was your evening?
It was great.
I hope Miss Nesbit was able to tend to all of your needs.
Oh, she's a fantastic woman.
I got you a present for Christmas.
Oh,
dear
really?
sir.
What is it?
It's a fine hand-rolled Cuban cigar. I know how fond you are of them.
Give it here. Thank you. Oh, that's a fine cigar. I also got you something.
Oh, Winston.
It's right there.
You did? Oh, you really shouldn't have.
Oh, but I did. It's at your feet. Look at the intricate wrapping.
Winston, this is lovely.
Oh, anything for my good friend Franklin.
Winston. Is this a blanket?
Oh no, it's even better. Keeps you twice as warm.
I feel like I've seen this before.
Oh, you have? It's my onesie.
Good luck to us in this great war we now face. I think we will need an epic friendship to face these epic times.
Harry, so glad you could join us for this joyous occasion.
Eleanor, the dinner was delicious and the turducken was superb.
I just had Nesbit whip it up for the four of us.
It was very good.
You all right there, Franklin?
Don't worry about me, Winston. I'm fine.
But darling, don't you think it's time that you
I said I'm fine. I'm going to stay up with Winston for a little while. Why don't
Franklin,
you go to bed?
I'm just worried.
In fact,
The night is young.
Nesbit! Ah, Nesbit. The dinner was delicious. Thank you so much, as always.
Anytime, Mr. President.
Nesbit, would you mind getting us 2 tiny teenies from the kitchen?
Of course.
Thank you. Harry, did you get that new memo we sent out today?
I did not, sir.
It was concerning Africa. Winston had some lovely ideas.
Oh, yes.
I would like to hear them.
Well, as you know, Africa is the key to Europe. So I suggest we use tanks.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
I thought it was a great idea too. Nesbit, where are those teenies?
Right here, Mr.
Ah, Winston, they're Nesbit's own creation, and they are delicious. You are going to love them.
Oh, let's get a little feminine. We're not used to these in Great Britain.
Fruity.
To victory in Europe.
To victory.
Nesbit, can I please have a scotch?
In August 1941, Roosevelt and Churchill met in Newfoundland and issued a joint policy statement and goals for the post-war world. The charter stated the goals of the war: no territorial changes made against the wishes of the people, restoration of self-government, free access to raw materials, reduction of trade restrictions, freedom of the seas, as well as disarmament of aggressor nations. The conference resulted in the declaration by the United Nations on January 1st, 1942. This document affirmed that all allies would abide by the conditions set forth in the Atlantic Charter.
I really do like sitting by the fire to talk. I think it's just an excellent place to have a good chat.
Oh, it's very nice. And look at this fire, so beautiful.
Gentlemen, may I join you?
Absolutely, old chap.
Mr. Hopkins, it's nice to see you.
Nice to see you too, sir.
Would you mind passing me my drink, please?
Of course.
Ah, Nesbit.
Why,
You
thank
know,
you.
I think we would all love 3 teenies.
Of course, Mr. President, right away.
Thank you, Nesbit. Now, Winston, we were talking before about how best to bring together the Allies. What were you saying?
So, as you mentioned, we need to unify the Allies. So, we therefore need to boost morale and have the Allies fight for a common purpose, a common goal, against a common enemy.
Nesbit, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nesbit.
Don't you just love me, Winston?
Oh, they're
Nesbit,
fantastic.
thank you so much.
No problem, Mr.
They are great. In fact, I finished mine in 1 gulp.
Nesbit! Mr. Churchill needs another.
No! I'll have a brandy, please.
Of course, Mr. Churchill.
World War II was a total war. In a total war, there is less separation between the military and the civilian population, and sometimes no differentiation whatsoever. Nearly every resource, human, industrial, or natural, become targets of the war effort by both sides. As the United States entered a total war, massive amounts of propaganda was distributed and previously untouched sections of the nation mobilized for the war effort. Academics became technocrats. Homemakers became bomb makers. Union leaders and businessmen became commanders in the massive armies of production. The great scientific communities of the United States were mobilized as never before. Mathematicians, doctors, engineers, and chemists turned their minds to the problems ahead of them. By the war's end, a multitude of advances had been made in medicine, physics, engineering, such as radar, penicillin, computers, synthetic rubber, and atomic energy. In the war, the United States lost many soldiers, but managed to avoid the extensive level of damage to civilian and industrial infrastructure that other participants suffered. The result being the U.S. emerged as one of the two superpowers after the war.
Well, Franklin, I really will never forget these past few weeks.
Nor will I, Winston, nor will I. And now good luck to both of us in this great endeavor of ours.
Absolutely. Now, I must ask you, please tell Nesbit for me.
Mr. Churchill,
To victory.
to victory.
And please, Franklin, do enjoy the onesie. I spent this anniversary and festival far from my country, far from my family, yet I cannot truthfully say that I feel far from home. Whether it be the ties of blood on my mother's side, or the friendships I have developed here over many years of active life, or the commanding sentiment of comradeship in the common cause of great peoples who speak the same language, who kneel at the same altars, and, to a very large extent, pursue the same ideals, I cannot feel myself a stranger here in the center and at the summit of the United States. I feel a sense of unity and fraternal association which, added to the kindliness of your welcome, convinces me that I have a right to sit at your fireside and share your happy Christmas joys. And so, in God's mercy, a happy Christmas to you all.